guys, in this section we are going to discuss about the configure the remote administrative access. So remote, already you know how to access the remote devices. Two types of you can access the devices remotely. One is a CLI, means terminal element emulator, like SSH and telnet. Another is a remotely you can access the graphical user interface. So in a Linux there is a multiple graphics available. First is cockpit, based on the web based. Okay. Another is a VNC server. So VNC server also you can use for the graphical interface. So all these things, how you can configure, we will discuss on that. So first we are going to discuss about the role of the SSH. So SSH we have already discussed. SSH actually most used a terminal emulator in a Linux to getting the access of the remote system for the administrating anything. So what you can access by the using the SSH? One is a remote server. Remote server means there is a server is running here, and because login directly on the server is not good enough, so most of the time server is connected to the client computer, and with the help of the client computer you can access the server remotely with the help of SSH. So why accessing the remotely SSH? You can administrating the remote servers. Another is cloud servers. All the cloud servers will provide you the SSH, so you will access the SSH and you can do the changes over the cloud server. And the network devices. Network devices also having the SSH enabled, so you can access the network devices remotely. Example of the switch is available over the SSH, so you can access and then make the changes and the configuration. You can change the configuration on the switch. Similar you can do on the router, firewall. Some firewall having the graphical interface, some firewall having the command line interface. So these interface can access over the virtual terminal SSH. So SSH in a server, because we are not going to discuss about the cloud server and network devices, we are going to discuss about the remote servers, which is based on the Linux. So SSH server configuration saved in this file. Okay, so SSH server configuration file exists. This is the location etc ssh d_config file. Other files also available which is related to the configuration of the SSH. These files are what does that means? This means home folder .ssh.config, another home folder .ssh authorized key, having the key are stored here, and .ssh known host, having the information which are the known hosts to make the connectivity with the server through the SSH. So SSH configuration files, I have told you what the configuration file have. They have the authentication with a public and private key pair instead of the password. Sometime you need mostly you need a username and password to log in over the SSH server. But of course you can use the key or the public key to log in, this key will be used to log in on the remote server. So why need to use the SSH is more secure, more convenient for the manual and scripted connection, and commonly required for the cloud services as well, because these services only managed by the SSH to getting the access remotely the system. So what is the key based authentication? Because I have told you already, there is a one authentication method is a username and password. Another authentication method is a key. So what is the key based authentication? So as you know, whatever the encryption is used in a SSH, this encryption is a asymmetric encryption. In a asymmetric key, there is a pair of the keys. One key is a private key, another key is a public key. So public and private key pair generated unique for the user. Whatever the user you have, it will be generated the unique key for this. And key is stored separately. If this is the server and there is a 10 users which will access this SSH remotely, so all the key of the 10 computers will be stored separately. It is highly secure because encryption and decryption enabled, easier for the automated connection because you will have to just provide the username @ SSH, username @ IP host, and you will get login. And can be used across multiple systems, multiple types of the system you can use. Windows based, Linux based, Android based, all are supporting for the SSH. There is a lots of the program exist which is used to make the connectivity through the SSH. But how to configure the key based authentication? Simple. First step, generate a public and private key by using the SSH keygen key. Another is a second step, copy to the remote server. Then you can use the SSH copy ID, username @ where you want to store. Test the connection, then SSH user A and this. Okay, so there is only 3 steps. First is generate key, copy key, and test the connection.